Well, we need to know a couple of things. Number one, we need to know how the world's premier law enforcement agency managed to lose 5 months worth of text. And what's also troubling is in the text we do have, they're discussing how to avoid text being captured and secured. So what's missing is important, but also what's there is important. It is manifest bias, not just against Trump, but against his kids, against his business interests. There's a text where they hope the Trump hotel fails. That is a level of bias that you rarely see and you never see from law enforcement officers. What's also troubling to me is this text that Johnny Ratcliffe found last night about this secret society. Now, I have no clue what that means because that was not the phraseology I used, but it's the day after the election, and it's the same two people that we're discussing a little bit later in the text, the damage they had done with the Clinton investigation and how they could, quote, fix it and make it right.
What's out there? Today is March 6, 2018, Tuesday. I'm Papa Bear, and thanks for listening. This is LMN Radio Network.com, at LateNightInTheMidlands.com. You can also catch us at WCET 101.7 FM, Columbia Talk. And before I get rolling into this too deep, I do want to let you know I broke down. I decided to go ahead and put copies of this on YouTube, although you won't see my smiling face. Not that there's much to see anyway, but it'll be there. And the name of the YouTube channel is called What's Out There. So you can find us on YouTube, provided they decide they want to, I don't know, keep our page, because apparently a lot of people are getting their accounts deleted from YouTube, and it's mostly the ones that are reporting on this government coup that's going on. But it's been a few days. A lot of stuff is going on. The whole shooting thing in Florida, the school shooting. We've got another place on lockdown, Utica. And still they haven't cleaned up all the stuff that's going on in Las Vegas. That is a big mess too. But let's not go too far into that. Immediately coming up though, I do want to let people know, if you're in the Northeast, like New England, you're in for a bunch of snow. Starting tomorrow, Wednesday, going right into Thursday, we're going to get about a foot. So it's going to start probably Wednesday afternoon, go right through into Thursday, and they're talking a foot, maybe more in some areas. So this is not, oh man. You know what it's like. You get near the end of the season and you're thinking, well, this is it. You know, we're not going to see much snow now. But then again, I remember when I was a child, a long time ago, back in 1968, what was it, almost 50 years ago, in March, we had a snowstorm that dumped a bunch of snow on us. Pretty near 2 feet. It was a lot. So March, that was actually an April snow. So that, don't be surprised. It couldn't be over yet. Keep those snow tires on. Wait till April 15th, right up to the end of it, because you never know. I talked about this government coup. I touched on it, so let's go ahead and jump in here. Devin Nunes, he's uncovered the biggest scandal in American political history. The FBI and Obama administration used the fake news Russia dossier to spy on the Trump campaign. Of course, we knew that, right? And Nunes has one letter that has a deep state in a panic. It was us tinfoil hat wearers that used to talk about the deep state. Now all of a sudden it's in daily news. I don't think our hats for that much tinfoil, I'd say. Either that or they're working. The second phase in the Nunes investigation is centered around determining who in the government had access to the Russia dossier and how they made use of it. Chairman Nunes already sent a questionnaire to 20 law enforcement officials, the intelligence community, and government officials asking about their dealings with the dossier. But the big news is he's now casting a wider net. He told Breitbart he's expanding the number of officials he's questioning about their deals with the dossier. Breitbart reports House Intelligence Committee Chairman Devin Nunes, Republican of California, told Breitbart News on Saturday that the committee will likely send more officials a list of questions about when they knew about the Russian dossier and what they did with it. There's likely going to be more people who will get it as this investigation unfolds. And if they don't respond, they'll be subpoenaed, Nunes said in an exclusive interview at CPAC. If you're an official and you knew about this, the Congress has a right to know about it, and so do the American people, he added. Last week, the committee sent a list of questions to more than 20 current and former law enforcement, intelligence, and State Department officials, asking when they knew about the dossier and what they did with it. Fox News reported that 3 of the recipients are former FBI Director James Comey, former CIA Director John Brennan, and former Director of National Intelligence James Clapper. The other recipients have not been named. I like seeing those names: Comey, Clapper, Brennan. Those are the 3 that have been acting pretty shady lately. Anyway, Nunes said one of the reasons the committee would not identify who has gotten the questionnaire is that they do not want recipients to coordinate their responses. We don't want all the people know. Yeah, we don't want to let all the people know who's getting it because, for one thing, we don't want them coordinating their responses because we believe that some people will answer the questionnaire, he said. Well, the dossier is the key to the scandal. In his memo, Nunes noted that former FBI Director Andrew McCabe testified there would have been no FISA warrant without it. And the Democrats released their memo in response, and they didn't challenge the point. So determining who had access to the dossier and what they did with it will go a long way in determining how widespread the scandal really was. Kind of give you an idea. So, with Nunes, he's right on it. He's going to go down in history as the individual most responsible for saving our republic and our president from the shadow government, a democratic coup that is underway. This is from rickwell.us. Once again, he's demanding answers and letting the American people get a taste of the kind of subversion he's aware of and the individuals he seeks to bring to justice. Catherine Herridge reports, with this letter to current and former intelligence, law enforcement, and State Department officials, the Republican chairman of the House Intelligence Committee launched Phase 2 of the committee's Trump dossier investigation. She continues, Chairman Devin Nunes posed a string of dossier-related questions covering when the officials learned the DNC and Clinton campaign paid for the research by former British spy Christopher Steele, as well as how the dossier was used to secure one or more surveillance warrants. Herridge notes, the questionnaire, including a threat to subpoena information, went to former FBI Director James Comey, former Director of National Intelligence James, not wittingly Clapper, and former CIA Director John Brennan, among others. She says the Republican staff memo released earlier this month said the FBI and Justice Department knew about the dossier's Democratic roots when it asked the National Security Court 18 days before the 2016 election to collect Trump campaign ad Carter Page's communications. She plays a video of Brennan giving false testimony before a House committee in which he was asked by Representative Trey Gowdy, who appears to have knowledge of the truth at this time, Director Brennan, do you know who commissioned the Steele dossier? Brennan replied, I don't. Gowdy followed up. Do you know if the Bureau ever relied upon the Steele dossier as part of any filings, applications, petitions, or pleadings? I have no awareness, said Brennan. She also reports in the latest indictment by Grand Inquisitor Mueller, once again, not related to the Trump campaign, and another foreigner who failed to treat an FBI interrogation as if he were in a confessional. Comey, Brennan, and Clapper will certainly attempt to avoid revealing the truth in their questioning, if history is any indicator. They'll ignore the request from Nunes, secured in the knowledge that Attorney General Jeff Sessions has their backs, and no legal action will be taken against them. They can even be compelled to testify before Congress, where they'll surely take the fifth and say nothing. Lying to the FBI or omissions that are construed as lies are only prosecuted in violation of the Fifth Amendment protections. Enemies against the deep state and regular Americans. The shadow government allies, members, and leadership, such as Hillary Clinton, are immune from prosecution, and apparently there's not a damn thing we can do about it, short of reaching for pitchforks. Okay. Unreal. That this is what your government is doing. Okay. And I say your government. You know, this is just what's coming out now. Okay. I mentioned earlier about this Utica College. The shooting at this Utica College thing, all right, and they said the school remains on lockdown. All buildings have been safely evacuated, and the students and staff being sent to 2 safe zones. I don't like that term, safe zones. A safe zone sounds like it's a space that's all by yourself, where you can't be insulted or anything like that. This is crazy. Anyway, at 1:24 p.m., Utica College posted the following update. Armed police officers continue to evacuate campus buildings and escort individuals to safe locations. Please continue to shelter in place. There are no reports of any shots fired, injuries, or suspect in custody. Utica, New York, Mills, Hartford, Sequoia, Notre Dame, Whitesboro, and Westmoreland schools are all on preliminary lockouts due to the situation at Utica College. So, and I have an idea that went okay, because that lockdown has been lifted, and this was yesterday, so I imagine after giving them a day, they'll have time to clean things up. If you're into cryptocurrency, you might want to stop and take a look, because Coinbase is getting sued for insider trading. This comes from Motherboard. And actually, it's a repost at blacklistednews.com. But on Thursday, a class action suit was filed in a California district court alleging that employees of the popular cryptocurrency exchange Coinbase engaged in insider trading of Bitcoin Cash. The class action lawsuit was filed by cryptocurrency trader Jeffrey Burke on behalf of himself and other traders who claim they had suffered monetary damages as a result of the alleged insider trading at Coinbase. The amount in damages the plaintiffs are seeking is not included in the documents and will be decided in court. On December 19th, Coinbase made a surprise announcement that it had started to trade a cryptocurrency called Bitcoin Cash. Coinbase has more customers than the mainstream finance company Charles Schwab, so its decision on whether to support a cryptocurrency has a big impact on that cryptocurrency's value. Indeed, within minutes of Coinbase's announcement, the price of Bitcoin Cash shot up by nearly $1,000, and all further Bitcoin Cash trades were canceled. Burke is alleging that he and everyone else who wasn't aware of Coinbase's decision to begin supporting Bitcoin Cash, well, they kind of got screwed over by those who were privy to that information ahead of time. A Coinbase spokesperson said the company is aware of the lawsuit and is currently reviewing more claims. According to Burke, insiders were able to flood GDAX, a trading platform owned by Coinbase, with Bitcoin Cash buy and sell orders immediately after the announcement went public. Only minutes after Coinbase announced it would start trading Bitcoin Cash, Coinbase cited liquidity issues and stopped all further trades and canceled existing orders. It wasn't until the following day that other Coinbase customers were able to place their Bitcoin Cash orders. When Coinbase's customers' trades were finally executed, it was only after the insider had driven up the price of Bitcoin Cash, and thus the remaining Bitcoin customers only received their Bitcoin Cash at artificially inflated prices that had been manipulated well beyond the fair market value of Bitcoin Cash at the time. That's what Burke's lawsuit reads. In the lawsuit, he claims to have placed an order for Bitcoin Cash only 5 minutes after Coinbase announced it had begun supporting the cryptocurrency on December 19th. Burke's order wasn't filled until a day later. However, during which time the price of Bitcoin Cash experienced a wild price spike. By the time Burke's order was filled, he was paying $4,200 for Bitcoin Cash, roughly twice the price when he placed his order. Okay. Bitcoin Cash is a hard fork of the original Bitcoin that was created last August. Bitcoin Cash differentiates itself from the original Bitcoin by allowing more transactions to be included in each block of the Bitcoin blockchain. Anyone holding Bitcoin at the time of the hard fork received the same amount in Bitcoin Cash. The problem was that if anyone's Bitcoins were to be held in an exchange that didn't support the Bitcoin Cash hard fork, they wouldn't be able to access their Bitcoin Cash after the hard fork. Originally, Coinbase said it didn't plan on supporting Bitcoin Cash, and that if users wanted to claim their Bitcoin Cash, they'd have to withdraw their Bitcoins from the exchange before the fork. So, only 2 days after the fork, however, Coinbase and its trading platform, GDAX, announced it would in fact be supporting Bitcoin Cash. At the time, Coinbase didn't give a hard time frame for when it would start supporting the fork, saying that only that it was planning to support Bitcoin Cash by January 1st. Then things started to get hairy. On December 19th, Coinbase announced it opened access to Bitcoin Cash for trading in a tweet. There were no prior announcements indicating that Coinbase intended to open up Bitcoin Cash trading on that day prior to the tweet. In the hours before and directly after the announcement, the price of Bitcoin Cash began to skyrocket to almost $3,400, almost double the previous day's price. So, you see what happens here? There's a lot of stuff going on, market manipulation, and even going in the market. That's suspicious in itself, as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, 81% of dollar store products tested contain chemicals linked to learning disabilities, cancer, and serious illnesses. Healthy Stuff. This comes from healthyholisticliving.com. But Healthy Stuff is an organization, and in collaboration with Campaign for Healthier Solutions, released a report Tuesday about toxic chemicals found in dollar store products. The report, a day late and a dollar short, discount retailers are falling behind on safer chemicals. Includes testing for results for 164 dollar store products such as toys, jewelry, school supplies, and other household items that found over 81%, or 133 of the 164 tested, contained at least one hazardous chemical above levels of concern. The campaign also sent a letter to the CEOs of the 4 largest dollar store chains, including Family Dollar, tentatively acquired by Dollar Tree on January 22nd, Dollar Tree, Dollar General, and 99 cents only, urging them to stop the sale of products with hazardous chemicals to communities of color or low-income families who already live in more polluted areas, and food desserts that adopt policies that will protect both customers and their businesses. Combined, these discount chains have sales totaling over $36 billion and operate more stores nationally than Walmart. People are struggling to make ends meet and are confined to shopping at dollar stores, said Jose Bravo, national coordinator for the Campaign for Healthier Solutions. We're already disproportionately affected by pollution and lack of adequate medical care, and now we're filling our homes and our bodies with chemicals released from dollar store products. This needs to stop. We've tested thousands of products from dozens of retailers over the last 10 years, said Jeff Gearhart, Healthy Stuff Research Director. On the average, the dollar store products are some of the poorest performing from a chemical hazard perspective. I'm particularly concerned about the comparatively high percentage of products containing hazardous plasticizers. The chemicals of concern found in dollar store products tested for this report include phthalates, I don't know how to pronounce that, PHTH, wow, linked to birth defects, reduced fertility, cancer, learning disabilities, diabetes, and other health issues. polyvinyl chloride plastic, or PVC, or vinyl, which creates hazards throughout its life cycle, has been linked to asthma and lung effects. And toxic metals such as lead, which harms brain development, leading to learning disabilities, lower IQ, and cause other serious health impacts, especially in children. So 49% of the products tested, like 80 out of 164, contain 2 or more hazardous chemicals above levels of concern. 38% of the products tested, or 63 of the 164, contain toxic plastic, or PVC. 32% of a subset of vinyl products tested for phthalates, 12 out of 38, contain levels of phthalates above the Consumer Product Safety Commission limit for children's products. So if you're shopping at the dollar store, you might want to be careful about what you buy, especially with plastics and stuff like that, because the plastics are where you're getting most of your toxins. Okay. Ohio. Lucky you, Ohio. New licenses are going to be mailed starting this summer to meet new federal regulations. Okay. This comes out of Columbus, Ohio. Starting in July, Ohio drivers will have to wait to get their new licenses. The Ohio Bureau of Motor Vehicles announced starting July 2nd, licenses will be made at a central production facility to meet updated federal regulations that go into effect in 2020. Licenses and identification cards will no longer be produced while you wait at each of the more than 180 deputy registrar offices statewide. Customers will instead receive their licenses and identification cards in the mail. The BMV said the new licenses and identification cards should arrive in about 10 days after visiting a deputy registrar. A temporary proof of transaction would be issued at the time of sale, per the BMV, to confirm your driving privileges until the card arrives in the mail. The list of changes basically is you're going to receive your license and identification card by mail. It's about 10 days after. You're going to receive a temporary card or a confirmation of driving privileges until that card arrives in the mail. And also having the option to have a driver license or identification card that is acceptable for federal identification purposes, which means if you're going to take an airline flight, a lot of them are checking for passports now, and you won't need that passport because you'll have that state ID. One of the major factors for making a change was the new federal restrictions requiring secure identification go into effect October 2020. The Bureau of Motor Vehicles says Ohio is getting a jump start by making the change this year. Customers not wishing to have their licenses meet the new federal requirements will also have that option, per the BMV. Ohioans will still need to start new license identification card process. So it's they still need to do the process, but you do have the option. You can opt out, which is a good idea. Facebook, since they like to know what's going on and trace your whole family and everything you do and all that good stuff, well, if you want to know, Facebook has a little, very little mentioned, actually, ability to download a copy of that file stored about them, or about you if you have a Facebook account, okay? And that's filled with detailed records of your activities while you're logged into Facebook. And it's less easy to obtain the Facebook, or the information Facebook knows about people who don't have an account, as they're tracked by way of third parties. But Silicon Valley, California-based company Facebook abuses data obtained from its enormous 1.4 billion massive daily active users as the raw basis for algorithms that link advertising and other materials to the online profile of a person. See, they catch you, they hear you talking, and the next thing you know, boop, you've got something on your screen. Hey, I was just talking about that. Never searched it, just talking about it, and boom, there it is on my screen. They're listening to you. They're listening. Anyway, if you want to know exactly what to do and how to find that out, you can download that file. And to do that, what you do is you open up your personal page, okay, And at the top right section of your Facebook page, you select settings. And then from there, you'll select download a copy of your Facebook data, which is underneath your general account settings. Then a file will be processed by Facebook with all your data from the day your account was created. Ensure that your email is functioning because Facebook will send you a notification and email when it's ready. So you can get a copy of everything that Facebook has on you. And people who don't have Facebook accounts, well, you only have to know a Facebooker to be in that, huh? Imagine. Orrin Hatch, kind of half like this guy, but he says the Obamacare supporters are some of the stupidest, dumbass people he knows. And he said it was the stupidest, dumbass bill he'd ever seen. Actually, this is what he said. We also finally did away with the individual mandate that was established under that wonderful bill called Obamacare. Now, if you didn't catch on, I was being very sarcastic, he said. He says, it was the stupidest, dumbass bill I've ever seen. He also added, now some of you may have loved it, and if you do, you're one of the stupidest, dumbass people I've ever met. And there are a whole lot of them on Capitol Hill from time to time. So he didn't hold back on that one, I'll tell you. But he did issue a statement apologizing for his flippant off-the-cuff comment. He said, yesterday I made a poorly worded joke about Obamacare supporters, a joke that was not reflective of my actual feelings toward my friends on the other side, he said. Throughout my term of service, I've always recognized the importance of civility, particularly in engaging with those of different political perspectives. Anyway, under the Affordable Care Act, the individual mandate required most people to have health insurance meeting specific standards. The law imposed tax penalties for violations. The purpose was to ensure healthier, younger patients pay into the system to cover the cost of older, sicker patients. Well, Hatch also made headlines in November 2017 during a Senate Finance Committee meeting where a fiery exchange broke out between Democratic Senator Sherrod Brown. Brown claimed that the GOP tax plan, before it passed, helped the wealthy and not the middle class. Hatch says, don't spew that stuff on me. I get a little tired of that crap. So, I mean, you got to give him a lot of credit for being honest. Honesty is a good thing. Without honesty, I mean, come on, where would we be, right? Anyway, this is what's out there. You're listening to Papa Bear, and we shall be back.
Let me assure you that our priority will remain to ensure stability and security.
In order to ensure the security and continuing stability, security
for Canadians.
Galactic Empire!
So this is how liberty dies. With thunderous applause.
Attention LMN Radio Network listeners. Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi available, you can still listen to every minute of the LMN Radio Network by calling 605-562-4203? No smartphone app or internet needed. Saves your data plan and no extra cost if you have unlimited minutes. Call 605-562-4203 to listen to the LNM Radio Network on any phone, anytime, anywhere.
Brothers at Arms is not about being militant, though there is a time and place where that is necessary. Brothers at Arms is not about arguing, though there are times where things may get heated. Brothers at Arms is not about who is right or wrong. There are many sides to each issue. Brothers at Arms is about exploring those sides, about dealing with the issues facing us today, about coming together and, through opposing views, understanding the deeper truths that are in the middle. Join Ira Robinson and Joe Long each Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on LateNightInTheMidlands.com as these Brothers at Arms discuss what you need to know. Brothers at Arms, it's about time. Have you been looking for answers? Have you been seeking the truth but can't seem to find it? Late Night in the Midlands has the answers for you. Whether you are interested in the paranormal, aliens and UFOs, alternative health information, or just a little hope and inspiration, we have a show for you. Late Night in the Midlands, The Secret Teachings, Open Eyes, Red Pill Reality Show, Brothers at Arms, and many more shows. All here on the LMN Network for you to listen to at any time that you want. Everything is free to listen to, and though it is not required, we are listener supported, and all donations are deeply appreciated. You will not find shows like these in the mainstream media. Go to LateNightInTheMidlands.com to listen. The LMN Network, where the truth has no fear.
This is TJ Sanfilippo, host of Navigating the River Styx. Join us each and every Thursday night at midnight here on Late Night in the Midlands Radio Network. Together, we will traverse the forbidden waters of the paranormal, the occult, our hidden history, conspiracies, and things that dwell in the darkness and the deep. Come, grab a seat by the fire away from the night that is closing in. I have tales to tell you. When the clock strikes 12, I invite you to join us here on Late Night in the Midlands Radio Network. Until then, stay safe.
The LNM Radio Network and Late Night in the Midlands depends on you, the listener. Without you, there would be no us. So help us continue to bring you the best guests with the best information and subscribe today. Information on becoming an LNM subscriber can be found at the top of LateNightInTheMidlands.com. Just click the About Subscriptions tab and become part of the family while helping the truth stay alive. And while you're at it, maybe subscriptions aren't for you. A one-time donation helps as well. Click that donate button on the right side of LateNightInTheMidlands.com and help us help you.
Goodness, we are back. You're listening to What's Out There. I'm Papa Bear. This is the LNM Radio Network at lnmradionetwork.com, LateNightInTheMidlands.com, and WCET 101.7 FM, Columbia Talk. And yes, I did bite the bullet, and I've got YouTube the videos that you can watch, or listen to, actually. And that'll be up until, well, I guess until they cancel my account like they've been doing to a lot of other people. But that's called What's Out There. And I guess catch me while I'm on. Like, share, subscribe, and or, you know how it goes. Anyway, my goodness, so much going on out there. You talk about these gun laws, okay, and everybody's afraid of the gun. Oh, we gotta get rid of bump stocks and automatic weapons and this, that, and the other. But in Oswego, Illinois, a man armed with an AR-15 rifle helped stop a knife attack during an argument in Oswego. It happened on Monday at an apartment building on Harbor Drive. Police say it all began when someone with a knife attacked a person during an argument. Neighbor Dave Thomas, who witnessed the attack, went into his home, got his rifle, and ordered the suspect to stop. So I ran back into the home, into my house, and grabbed my AR-15. I grabbed the AR-15 over my handgun. It's just a bigger gun. I think it looked a little more than an intimidation factor. Definitely played a part in him actually stopping. No shots were fired. The suspect was able to get away briefly before the police captured him. The stabbing victim was taken to the hospital and is expected to recover. Police say Thomas had a valid firearm owner's identification card and a concealed carry permit. Thomas says he's also a firearms instructor. The AR-15 is my weapon of choice for home protection, Thomas said. It's light, it's maneuverable, and if you train and know how to use it properly, it's not dangerous. And this is just a perfect example of a good guy with an AR-15 stopped a bad guy with a knife, and there were no lives taken. So, all in a day's work, right? It all works out good. And that's the idea. There's an intimidation factor. You don't have to pull that trigger. You really don't have to. And in Kentucky, there's a school district there that just voted to let teachers carry concealed guns. In Pikeville, teachers could soon be carrying concealed guns inside schools. In Pike County, under a proposal that was preliminarily approved Monday evening by Pike County School Board. The unanimous decision came after the board heard concerns about school safety from teachers, parents, and administrators during a town hall meeting at Pike County Central High School. The discussion was prompted by multiple school shootings in recent weeks, including one at Marshall County High School in western Kentucky that left 2 dead, and another in Florida that left 17 dead. The motion authorizes the school board's attorney to work with the Pike County Sheriff's Office, which would oversee the program, to finalize a formal policy for the school board to consider. Pike County Schools Superintendent Reed Adkins said he hopes the board will give final approval within 2 to 3 weeks and to have armed staff in schools by fall, if not sooner. He says, "You hope you're making the right decision for the kids, but I know right now something's got to be done. We may be criticized, but at the end of the day, I'll take the criticism to protect my students." And he's got the right idea. You know, John Akers, executive director of the Kentucky School for School Safety, Kentucky Center for School Safety, said Tuesday there are no schools in Kentucky that allow teachers to carry guns, and that every educational group across the country opposes the idea. Nearly everyone who spoke at the meeting, though, supported arming staffers who would be trained by the sheriff's office. This program could be a model for the rest of the state and possibly the country, said State Senator Ray Jones, Democrat, Pikesville, who attended the meeting. Many also offered other suggestions to improve school security, such as door locks, cameras, and more counseling opportunities for troubled students. Under the new proposal, school employees would volunteer to serve as concealed carry guards at schools throughout the county. Each volunteer would be subject to a background test, drug test, mental evaluation, a qualification course, including firearms training led by the sheriff's office, which offered to provide the training for free. So, and that's the thing. I mean, what they should be doing is they should be taking teachers that are in there now, ones who already have concealed carry permits, and allow them to take them with them, because if you have a CCW, chances are you know what you're doing. And if they're going to let you on the street with one of those, the school is no different. Okay? And as a matter of fact, with these teachers, there was one person who said it best, you know, the teachers know these children. They care for these children. They have a vested interest. They love these kids. You know, they're like their own. They see these kids all the time. And they know who these kids are. They know their personalities. They know everything about these kids, all right? They are the ones that are going to protect these. You got somebody outside. He doesn't know anybody in the school at all. Maybe a couple of kids. I don't know. But if you hire an outside contractor that has no vested interest, what kind of results are you going to get? It's the same thing with government, you know. Everybody wants to take advantage of governments. They throw the bills up high. Oh, we can take advantage of the government. The government's paying. The government's paying. The government's not paying. It's coming out of your pocket eventually. It's cyclical. It's a big cycle, and people don't get it. You know, oh, we're gonna jab them hard because, well, it's the government. The government's got a lot of money. How much money do you have? Because this is going to come out of your pocket eventually. That's the bottom line. Okay? It's, I mean, I don't know. If you have kids in school, the biggest thing that I really think is the problem is access. Because you'll find that most of these school shooters, there wouldn't be any problem if they didn't get in. And these schools are all locked up. I've been to schools here in Maine. You've got parents and guardians waiting outside for their kids to come out. They can't go into school. You can't get into school. I used to do volunteer driving. And when you went to pick up a kid at school, you had to go in and go through security, let them know who you were, show them who you were, give them all the necessary paperwork so that you can take that child out safely. That is what school is about. Who let them in? Who let them in? You know, when I was a kid, we didn't have that. You walked up to the school, you walked in. You walked in, you walked out. Everything was open. Just go, go, go. Come and go, come and go. Not a problem. Today, everything is all locked down. And why is it all locked down? Easy. Pedophiles. Pedophiles are out stealing kids. And, of course, a lot of pedophiles are coming down. They're taking them out. But it's a long road. I've got something here. Actually, I want to touch on this dollar thing because Trump says he wants to replace the dollar with gold as the global currency to make America great again. Now, a lot of us will not disagree. Okay, inside President Trump, otherwise standard Trump stump speech at CPAC, was nestled what might be a most intriguing observation. Global cooperation dealing with other countries, getting along with other countries is good. It's very important. But there's no such thing as a global anthem, a global currency, or a global flag. This is the United States of America that I'm representing, okay? Well, there's a keen insight there that could just maybe transform our lives, America, and the world. No global currency? Was this what the poetic observation that there's no such thing as a global anthem or a global flag, or just a trope? Or could it contain a political portent with potential high impact on financial markets? As it happens, there is a global currency, and it's called the US dollar. Most international trade is priced in dollars. The Bretton Woods International Monetary System invested the dollar, which then was defined and internationally was legally convertible to gold at $35 an ounce with global currency status. France's then finance minister, later as president, Valéry Giscard d'Estaing, anyway, called the reserve currency status of the dollar, its status along with gold as global currency, an exorbitant privilege. Okay, and by this he was alluding to the fact that, as summarized at Wikipedia, that as American economist Barry Eichengreen summarized, it only cost a few cents for the Bureau of Engraving and Printing to produce a $100 bill. But other countries had to pony up $100 of actual goods in order to obtain that one. Okay? That privilege, which made great sense during the period immediately after World War II, became a curse. In 1971, President Nixon, under the influence of his Svengali-like Treasury Secretary John Connally, suspended temporarily the convertibility of the dollar into gold. That closure proved durable instead of temporary. The dollar became and remains the world's global currency. What had been an exorbitant privilege devolved into an exorbitant liability. As my former professional colleague John D. Mueller of the Ethics and Public Policy Center formerly Representative Jack Kemp's chief economist, writing in the Wall Street Journal, and Trump's real trade problem is money, recently astutely observed, a monetary system based on a reserve currency is unsustainable, since foreign official dollar reserves, for example, are required and must be repaid in goods. In other words, the increase in official dollar reserves equals the net exports of the rest of the world, which means it must also equal U.S. international payment deficits, an unsustainable situation. In other words, if President Trump wishes to address America's merchandise trade deficit, well, balanced to perfection, of course, by a capital account surplus, he'll have to find, or he'll find that allowing the dollar to be used as a global currency is a real snake in the economic woodpile. The dollar's burden as the international reserve currency, not currency manipulation by our trading partners or bad treaties, is the true villain in the ongoing melodrama of crummy job creation. Muller's Wall Street Journal column enumerates the three options open to President Trump. First, you can muddle along under the current dollar standard, a position supported by resigned foreigners as some nostalgic Americans, among them Brian Riley and William Wilson at the Heritage Foundation and James Pedakakis at the American Enterprise Institute. Or you could turn the International Monetary Fund into a world central bank issuing paper or special drawing rights, okay, as proposed in 1943 by Keynes, since the 1960s by Robert Mundell, and in 2009 by Zhao Zhangquan, governor of the People's Bank of China. The drawbacks: this kind of standard is highly political, and the allocation of special drawing rights is essentially arbitrary, since the IMF produces no goods. Or the third, adopt a modernized international gold standard as proposed in the 1960s by Roof and in 1984 by his protege Louis Lehrman and then Representative Jack Kemp. To muddle along, of course, would be entirely antithetical to Trump's promise to make America great again. It would destroy his crucial commitment to get the economy growing at 3% plus, give or take, vastly faster than it has for the past 17 years, which also happens to be the recipe for robust job creation and upward income mobility for workers. It's also the essential ingredient for balancing the federal budget while rebuilding our infrastructure and military. So to turn the IMF into a world bank would be, I don't know. To subordinate the dollar to the IMF for the special drawing rights would be equivalent to lowering Old Glory and replacing the American flag with the flag of the United Nations. I don't know. But basically, that leaves just a third option. That's to adopt a modernized international gold standard. And Donald Trump says we used to have a very, very solid country because it was based on the gold standard. He told WMUR television in New Hampshire in March of last year. But he said it would be tough to bring it back because we don't have the gold. Other places have the gold. And Trump's comment to GQ was, bringing back the gold standard would be very hard to do, but boy, would it be wonderful. We'd have a standard on which to base our money. So that'll tell you right now, our money is not backed by gold. It's backed by promises and GDP, and that's basically it, in a nutshell, I guess. Benjamin Netanyahu of Israel. Something tells me that he might not be going along too much longer here. The police commissioner isn't afraid of the prime minister. And now his men at the Ministry of Communications has crossed the line to turn against him. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's leadership has been dealt a harsh blow, apparently a mortal one. The power of the prime minister doesn't stem only from an outcome of an election, but from a coalition majority. Okay. So what happens is they're accusing him of corruption, bribery, and it doesn't wash too well over there in the Middle East. It's not at all what. Anyway, Idaho School District buys rifles. Will warn visitors building is armed. Garden Valley, Idaho. The Garden Valley School District is arming itself and a handful of staff members with guns in case of potential security threats moving forward. According to the district school board minutes, the district has purchased 4 rifles and 2,000 rounds of ammunition. The district is also considering spending up to $2,000 to purchase extra magazine rounds and body armor vests, according to the school board documents. Each rifle was purchased for $680. We just have to protect our kids, and we didn't want to do it in a haphazard way, Mark Gee, Garden Valley School District Superintendent, told KBOI Friday. School officials recently completed training with deputies from Boise Sheriff's Department, or Boise County Sheriff's Office this month. Signs will also be posted at both entrances at the K through 12 or kindergarten through 12 school, warning visitors that our school is armed. I've been positive. I've yet to see a community member come in and say, "Why are you doing this?" Gee said. So if something were to happen, we have about 30 to 45 minute potential wait time for police to arrive. The loss of life will be just enormous. Obviously, we hope we'll never have to use them. But it's a good idea. But then again, we get right back to the same issue. The original issue. Access. Okay. How do the kids get in? Okay. Oh man, CNN, the Children's Narnia News, Communist News Network, whatever you want to call it, okay, they're trying to protect Obama from FBI text messages, that whole scandal, and, well, they just got debunked. Okay, this is from Western Journal. Following the release of text messages exchanged between FBI official Lisa Page and Peter Strzok, CNN attempted to dismiss repeated reports that called into question former President Barack Obama's involvement in the Hillary Clinton email probe. But as noted by Arabian News, it's really CNN's reporting that doesn't quite add up. It all started last week when Wisconsin Senator Ron Johnson and other Republicans on the Senate Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs Committee released a new batch of messages that were exchanged between Page and Strzok, who were having an affair. The messages were accompanied by a report called The Clinton Email Scandal and the FBI's Investigation of It. In a message dated September 2nd, 2016, just 2 months before Election Day, Page wrote to Strzok about getting then FBI Director James Comey ready to brief Obama. Page's reasoning was that POTUS wants to know everything we're doing. Okay, so it didn't take long for CNN to take a stab at debunking that bombshell report. People are familiar with the matter, strongly dispute the assertion that the text message reference to the Clinton email probe, is what the CNN wrote. The text message, they say, was actually referencing Obama's desire to be kept abreast on the FBI's investigation into Russian election meddling. CNN correctly pointed out that the text message in question was sent several months after FBI closed the Clinton email investigation. Moreover, it came just 3 days before September 5th, when Obama met with Russian President Vladimir Putin to discuss election meddling. However, texts between Strzok and Page show that on September 7th, Strzok was scheduled to meet with Comey to prepare the FBI director to brief Obama, meaning that Obama would not have met with Comey until days after he spoke with Putin. Okay. I can tell you why they're having that meeting. It's not what you think, Page responded, before Strzok said that the meeting's purpose was to provide Comey with talking points for his own upcoming meeting. At that point, Page agreed. Yes, because POTUS wants to know everything we're doing. So, unbelievable. It's just, there's a whole coup going on, and you've got some good guys like Devin Nunes. He's a hero. He's trying to get this stuff out, and he's getting stifled. The mainstream news is not touching any of it. They won't. I don't get it. There's only one place that's actually pushing out something that actually has some valuable information about this internal government coup that's going on, and that's Fox News. And you can say anything you like about Fox News. They're warmongers and all that. Wonderful, great, I get it. But they're reporting this news. They're reporting the stuff that people need to know about this coup going on. Also, John Kerry funneled millions to his daughter and is an official who agrees to testify against him. A former high-ranking Peace Corps official accepted an immunity deal in exchange for cooperating in the investigation into former Secretary of State John Kerry funneling millions of dollars to a nonprofit organization run by his daughter. Recently published court documents show Warren Buckingham reached a deal with the U.S. Attorney's Office in Washington, D.C. to avoid prosecution in the case involving an illegal lobbying scheme by Obama's deep state actors. Buckingham told federal prosecutors he pushed former Peace Corps officials to ensure Seed Global Health secured a $6.4 million Department of State funded contract in December of 2015. Buckingham also worked to ensure that Seed, the nonprofit organization funded and run by Vanessa Carey, received its original $3 million State Department funded contract back in September of 2012. Court documents reveal officials from Seed and State Department met with Vanessa and spoke extensively about funneling the money to Seed through the Peace Corps. That's a sneaky way to do it, huh? Right in the back door. Buckingham's immunity deal indicates he agreed to cooperate with any ongoing investigation relating to Kerry abusing his power at the State Department to funnel millions of dollars to his daughter's organization. He also agreed to disclose all factual information surrounding the highly illegal scheme, including any document, record, or other tangible evidence. This is big. This is big. This corruption scheme is slightly similar to what Hillary Clinton did as Secretary of State. Clinton used her power at the State Department to approve policies or requests for other nations in exchange for massive donations to the Clinton Foundation. However, Kerry abused his power to funnel millions of dollars from the State Department through the Peace Corps to his daughter's organization. Both corrupt Obama officials broke the law. They abused their power, and they really should go to jail for the crimes they've committed. But who's going to do it, right? They're above the law. And it's, I keep trying to tell people, we've got three different governments going on here, okay? And it's, and why, Pop, what do you mean there's three of them? Well, you've got one which is the state of the state, okay? You're all capital letter state of, which is a division of your United States, okay? And then you have your regular, that's the government end of it. Then you have your state end of it, which is supposed to be the corporate part of the state business. And then you have your private end of it, which is supposed to be through assembly, okay? This is, what we're going through now has been so ripped apart and torn apart and so misconstrued that people don't even know what the government is anymore. They don't know where they fall into government anymore. They don't realize that if they don't work for the government, if they don't have a government job, if the government's not paying them, they really don't fall into their jurisdiction. But then again, you've got that little hook in there where if you're using Federal Reserve notes, you have to follow the laws that come with Federal Reserve notes. And that is where the problems start, okay? It all comes down to the Bretton Woods Agreement and the monetary policy and, all the good stuff after that. I don't know where to go with that. I know where to go with that. You're listening to Papa Bear. And that, my friends, is, I think it's what's out there. Yes. That, my friends, is what's out there. Have a great day.
Enforcement Agency managed to lose 5 months worth of text. And what's also troubling is in the text we do have, they're discussing how to avoid text being captured and secured. So what's missing is important, but also what's there is important. It is manifest bias, not just against Trump, but against his kids, against his business interests. There's a text where they hope the Trump hotel fails. That is a level of bias that you rarely see and you never see from law enforcement officers. What's also troubling to me is this text that Johnny Ratcliffe found last night about this secret society. Now, I have no clue what that means because that was not the phraseology I used, but it's the day after the election, and it's the same two people that were discussing a little bit later in the text the damage they had done with the Clinton investigation and how they could, quote, fix it and make it right.
What's out there?